Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to episode number 63. 63. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. 63. Today we have something interesting for you guys. We're going to give away access to our Stealth Valuation Index. We're going to do the giveaway to 5 people. 5 people today. We're going to give it away to 5 people in the chat. The tool that I created, the Stealth Valuation Index. A lot of people have been asking for it, messaging me about it. Yeah, man. We're going to do that today's stream. Gold has been... we're going to talk about gold, of course, what happened yesterday, number 1. Then we're going to see what we can expect today. Keep in mind, today is the FOMC. All right, so we have some major news, major news coming later on today, which is, of course, all built around the interest rates, etc. The expectations of that, all right? This is going to happen for me late at night, but for you guys, probably in the morning or late in the afternoon, okay? So we're going to talk about that in regards to the press conference as well, the expectations of that. And keep in mind, this is going to be an interesting one because it's going to be done by someone else, not Jerome Powell, but it's going to be done by Kevin Walsh. So that's going to be an interesting one. In the meantime, let me see wherever it is in the chat today. Let's give it a go. Let's do a quick shout out to the clan, to the group. There we go. Yes. What's happening, Mustafa? How are you, man? Gwen, 8 a.m. here, 9 a.m. Yes. Well, good morning, my friend. Good morning. Mustafa says it's 5 a.m. in Dubai. Shout out to you, man. Good morning, Gil, Domi, Juan, Avi, what's happening, my friend? Smith Wesson, nice to see you. Bradley, as always. Shanita, how are you doing? Karan, are you bullish or bearish? I'm neutral right now. We're in a range, but we'll talk about it. Manos, Tony, what's happening, man? Or Toy, sorry, Toy. Violetta. All right. Awesome stuff. Let's get to work, man. Let's we have a couple things to discuss, a couple things to go over right now in regards to gold. Pretty much back in a range right now. What happened yesterday? Okay, how did we acted yesterday? Yesterday price came down right after I closed it. It's unbelievable. But anyways, we'll talk about it in a second. And yeah, man, let's have a good session. Maybe a bit of a shorter session, but we'll make it happen. Oh shit, the sound was off. I had such a great introduction. Unbelievable. It was the best introduction of my life, actually. Anyways, what I was saying was, good morning, my friends. I hope you are doing well. I hope you had a good night's sleep. And if you did not have a good night's sleep because it's super late for you right now, and it's still in the middle of the night, then I have a lot of respect for you, okay? A lot of respect for you. So I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching the show. At this time, even if it's night for you right now at the moment, that shows some dedication. And yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. Appreciate you guys. And thank you for coming on. We're going to talk about the gold today. Okay. Yeah, we have to talk about gold this week regardless. Keep in mind that today is a very important day. Let me know in the chat, what kind of day is it today? Let me know. What kind of day is it today? So I will make sure that everyone is on the same page right now so you understand you can adapt to that condition. Yes? Let me know in the chat, please. Let's see. A 100%, 1000% correct. Today is the FOMC. Okay. Yes, today is the FOMC. It will actually happen later on, of course, when the United States wakes up in their afternoon, of course. So for me, it will be in the night, but the whole day will be prepared, in my opinion, for the FOMC statement today. Keep in mind that that could result in some, consolidation momentum. So like we can lose a little bit of momentum today. We could stay in what we call so-called a balanced session or a balanced range. We might have a bit of less volume today as well, right? So all of these things are things that you have to take kind of in consideration as well here when trading things like the FOMC, okay? So this is something that you have to accept. It's just the biggest news event of the week. And then after that, I think we have also the PCE price index on Thursday. But I think the FOMC is going to be very interesting because of the fact that we have a new president, okay? A new president right now. And that is this guy right here. Kevin Walsh, 56 years old, from, so, I don't know, America, the United States, whatever. Kevin Walsh, okay, is now official president for the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell is gone. Our lovely Jerome Powell, our uncle, my uncle Jerome, is officially gone right now, and he is replaced by Kevin Walsh. So Jerome Powell is retired. Kevin Walsh is going to replace him, and this is going to be the first official press conference that he's going to give. And it's going to be always an interesting one. So I expect some volatility to happen. Okay, yesterday we had the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. So I think the question now will be, according to the CPI today for the euro, what will the United States do as well here? So I think we're going to see some major volatility later on during the FOMC, of course, and a preparation of that towards that news event pretty much, okay? Oil is coming down quite hard right now at the moment. Oil broke structure. Look at oil. Oil broke down actually kind of hard. Look at that support. Losing that momentum completely right now. Now that quote unquote, the war is settled, or at least for now, the peace deal is quote unquote settled, right? Yeah, oil is breaking down, but the dollar is not. The dollar is actually holding up quite well, okay? Look at the dollar still. The dollar does not really want to break down yet, okay? This is the thing about the dollar right now. As long as the dollar is not tanking like oil isn't, gold will still have its ups and downs, etc., etc. So do take that in consideration, right? The dollar had its moment where it started to come down. Gold took advantage of that moment. Gold was pushing higher. But now at this current moment, you can see that the dollar is facing critical key support. Okay? Do take that in consideration. The dollar is still holding really strong support at the moment here. This is the daily time frame. And this is just really simple, straightforward. Support and resistance, right? Don't have to overcomplicate this. Resistance right there, resistance, and now turning into support and in support right there. So overall, okay, you can actually see right now that the dollar is holding that major support for now. And we actually bounced from it earlier. And you can actually see that we're still holding on around that area. You see clearly that we have that level of support here. And as long as we're holding around that area, we are not breaking to the downside. So the dollar is not closing below here. There is still a chance for gold to come down as well or face resistance as well, right? this is something that you have to take in account because the dollar is definitely correlated to its gold momentum right now. Okay, if the dollar comes down, gold benefits from that. If the dollar goes up, gold has a hard time with that as well. Okay, so right now looking at gold at the moment on the higher time frame. All right, what did gold do the last time? Gold actually swept those highs, which was amazing. Okay, gold swept those highs, but it then immediately pulled back. And now we're kind of forming a range at the top here. Okay, I am not saying that gold right now at the moment looks quote unquote weak, but there is some hidden resistance that I really want you to think about. And that resistance is sitting in this candle right here. In this candle. Why this candle? We're going to talk about it in a second here, but that is the candle where we will find some hidden resistance here. I'm going to actually mark out a zone like that, and I'm going to extend that zone all the way to where we are right now at the moment. And yes, this is that resistance, okay? And you might ask yourself the question, but how is that resistance? Because there's nothing there. Like I just see a big red candle. Why are we getting rejected at that area, etc., etc., etc.? Well, that shows us in the order flow. Let's look in the order flow right now at the moment and actually see what's going on there. And do you guys remember, because I know the OGs do, what this candle represented right there? This big fat red candle. This was on a Friday. I give you just a little hint. It's this beautiful big red candle right around there, okay? What was this candle? How was this candle created? With these 81,000 contracts on gold, which is a huge candle, okay? That was an event that took place on a Friday around a week and a half ago, okay? Almost 2 weeks ago. And that is, of course, the NFP. All right, the NFP candle is right here, okay? And inside the NFP candle, we have, of course, orders. Okay, this is a 4-hour candle, and inside of that NFP candle, we have orders. And we have orders with low volume, all right? And we have orders with high volume. Look at that. This is pretty much low volume. You see, it's pretty dark. We have a bit more volume here, okay? Equal amount of buyers and sellers. Then we have a lot more volume, or a little bit less volume, sorry, right? But here, we have the most volume. You see that? So in this 4-hour candle, the most volume was actually traded at the bottom of that candle. You see that? 7.8 sell market. You could say they're hitting the bid. And 7.5 buy market, so hitting the ask, okay? That means there were more sellers than buyers. That's why it's red. But the most important thing is the volume was mainly distributed at the bottom of that candle. So if you mark out a zone right now around that candle and you just, turn this into a zone, then you can actually see that that is exactly the resistance where we got rejected on so many times. Look at that right here. We got rejected there. We got rejected there. We got rejected there. And this was immediately after the FOMC, right? And then we got rejected there. This was on a Monday after we swept those highs, okay? We got rejected there. And we got rejected there yesterday, okay? So where are we now? We are now holding around that resistance, okay? So that is something that needs to be broken, okay? In order for gold to go up, in order for gold to fly higher. We need to close above that major resistance because that has been the resistance that we have been consistently getting rejected at. And the thing is, you don't necessarily see this on the candlestick chart as well as you see it on the order flow because of the fact that most of that volume that we talked about was actually traded right around here. Okay, let me just actually highlight it one more time. It's actually something like this, a bit lower, right? It's actually right around here. That is that high volume candle right there. That is that resistance that we are facing. So what we need to do with gold, if we want to be considered bullish macro-wise, we need to close above this, turn it into support, which you usually do if you close above this, because it's such an important candle. And then we look for the continuation to the upside, okay? So this is where bulls will definitely outperform, and we'll see a larger push, expansion, etc. Until that moment, okay, we are pretty much at resistance right now, right around here, okay? I just do want you to pay attention to that. So the probability of longing, even though it doesn't look weak right now, on the intraday, on the lower time, which we're going to talk about in a second, doesn't look weak, is still, because of this resistance, leaning a bit bearish because of the fact that we can't break it. We can't seem to break it for now. Maybe in the future we will. Maybe during the FOMC we will. Maybe when we get some serious volume we will. But for now, we can't do that, okay? The dollar is at support. And gold is at that resistance right around there, okay? I hope you guys understand why we use order flow for these type of things right there. A lot of people use order flow on the higher time frame, also on the lower time frame, like the 5 minute, which we do as well. But people tend to forget to use it on the higher time frame. It is actually, in my opinion, super interesting because you can really spot strong higher time frame support and resistance as well here, okay? That is something to really think about, to look into, to talk about, etc., 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 etc. Right now, you see that the 4-hour candle is bullish. So we're actually pushing up higher. You can see this right here. Gold is starting to make a little bit of a move to the upside, but we're pretty much in a range right now at this current moment right here. Okay, this is the range that we are dealing with right now. Okay, now yesterday, what I wanted to do yesterday, let's go over yesterday. Because yesterday the goal was to get down towards the 4,300 and we did drop eventually. It took forever, but we did drop, and price came back to the range, held, respected already at the 4,317, and it came back up again and it's now ranging, and it now seems to break out of that range again. So we're pretty much holding up quite well. So the main thing that I would say is now for daily updates about my trades, which is amazing now, and I'm like, bro, why did I never created a Telegram group earlier? It's so easy to just update you guys for whatever I do right here. It's pretty much free, right? Completely free to join. And it allows me to just give my analysis for the day. It allows me to show my results off the stream setup, right? It shows my situation, stop loss, break even, updates, etc., etc. Things like that, right? Just updates in general, right? And then, of course, also video updates. But we're just constantly hovering around our entry right now at this current moment here. And every time we break down, we just push back up again. I did want to hold on to the trade a bit longer to see how it develops, etc., etc., etc. So this is why we created the Telegram group, to keep and stay in touch with you, regardless of the streams, okay? And that's just something that we're doing now consistently, because I think it's just so much better to do it this way, because sometimes we're waiting for the stream, trades, etc. And if you're looking for the right setup in the market, sometimes they play out later and whatever, or I'm still in the trade or whatever and I have to go. Then you can just follow up with my Telegram, my free Telegram group. So you can just follow up with me. It allows me to do some education as well, and go from there, okay? Free trainings, whatever you want, right? So the link's in the description, you can join it. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. But anyways, what about right now at the moment? Let's talk about this right around here. Why is this still bearish? We just talked about the higher time frame, right? And this is just major resistance. So I think the probability that gold will break out before the FOMC is not, in my opinion, super likely, I would say. I would say that we have to be a little bit more cautious with that right now at the moment, with trying to look for breakout trades on the day of the FOMC, right? So if we say, okay, this is pretty much the high of the range and this is the low of the range, right around here, is there a way where we could just talk about or expect some sort of balance session today? Pretty much taking the highs right here, taking the lows, trying to understand the areas where some furious volume has been traded, and just take that as a reason for us to look for setups for potentially, and see if we could just try to keep trading the range today. And if we break out, we break out. That's amazing. But at least until then, just not expect a lot of, how can I say that? Expect a lot of movement right now, maybe during the Asia session today as well here, until the FOMC actually comes out with more data, more information, and things like that. Another thing on the order flow, which I think is super interesting, look at that, is the order book, okay? Look at that order book right here on the right side of your screen right now, right around there. Look at that. And I've never seen an order as big as that order in the order book right now. Do you guys see it in the bottom right there? 1,000 contracts sitting at the 43.10, okay, on futures. 43.10 on futures, 1,000 contracts sitting there below, waiting to be filled. okay? This is actually a very important signal that we might still indeed hold that resistance, and that something wants to keep price down at least until the FOMC, because if people place huge orders below in comparison to the rest of the market, there's pretty much nothing here except for a huge order below, then this could work or act like a magnet. A huge limit order sitting at 4310, which is a massive order. I've actually, I don't know, last time I've seen an order like that big. But that could be a reason for prices still trade towards that or try to trade towards that, which makes, in my opinion, a lot of sense here. All right, it's obviously a buy limit because it's sitting right below, and sell stops and market stops, right? Aggressive orders are activated immediately. So right around there, okay, we can actually see that this is a passive order sitting right there at the bottom, all right, which is actually super interesting. But it doesn't mean that this will be acting as support, okay? It could easily be removed right beforehand. It could also be absorbed by sellers and price could shoot down right away, okay? But that's not the point. The point is that there is a huge order sitting there and that these things can act as some sort of magnet that is kind of drawn towards that liquidity, okay? That is kind of the thought process behind the way I like to look at these orders. Not necessarily, is it gonna hold support? Is it gonna hold resistance? This is where we use the footprint chart for, okay? To give us an understanding of how buyers and sellers interact. And the candlestick chart is also more than enough, in my opinion, to see where we could bounce from. What kind of levels are gonna be interesting and things like that as well here, okay? So anyways, the levels that I'm looking for today, let me just mark it out because I just wanted to look at this already. And I'm gonna just try and see if you can go and do that. And that is, let me see. Either breakdown, but most importantly on the hourly, I think. Where was that zone that I was looking for? Yeah, the 75. The 75. And the 69. The 69 as well. Is that correct? The 69, yes. On futures, okay? So I need to see what level that is on spot. Yeah, we're pretty much there already. Wow. Okay, we're pretty much there already. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have this level right there. We have also the point of control of yesterday. I think we're around this area. Okay. Okay. Anyways, if we close below the point of control, I'm going to pay attention to this. If we come up a little bit higher, so we're going to come up towards this zone right there, specifically the highs. Okay. Maybe even this level right there, the 59. I will try, I think, the short gold and give it a try. Because, yeah, if this could be the case that we could come down, then I would feel pretty comfortable with seeing if we could still trade towards this area, which is the opening price of the week, which is still the 4,300. I'm still aiming for that same exact level here. On spot, we just talked about the huge order, which is sitting at the 14 now. It's now divided into two orders. You see it's moving. 14. So it is a serious order. It is really someone willing to buy because or accumulate because of the fact that it was a $1,000 order or 1,000 contract order. Now it's divided into two. It's gonna make that one as a level right there. Okay. Anyways, I'm looking for something like this. You know, either we pull back up and we push down, or we come down already. But we have to close below, in my opinion, the point of control. That will be a level to look for. But I prefer to buy or sell high and buy low. And not sell low and buy high. That makes sense. Okay, so let's see if we could push up a bit higher and give us the indication we need in order to get there. But anyways, we do have definitely some interest sitting around the lows still. So I'm very curious to see if we could still push down right now. That would be awesome. That would be great. What order flow software do you use? It's called the Xau charts. Okay. Xau charts. EXO charts. Yeah. Yeah, it costs you around $50 a month, I think. But it's very helpful if you are already, you know, trading a long time and you want to have some additional information and stuff. You want to learn a bit more about like the market and stuff and how these orders are actually distributed, how it actually kind of works from that perspective. It's actually very, very interesting. And you learn a lot about, supply and demand. You learn a lot about orders, the distribution of orders. And also you learn a lot about who's in control and who's trapped in their position and how that affects the market, etc. It's actually very interesting, but I would not recommend to start off with order flow immediately from the beginning. In my opinion, I think it's something that you can learn over time. How did your setup play out yesterday? Yeah, I keep an update log right now in the Telegram group, man. So right here you could see we're trading with like excessive risk as well here. So price came down. Okay, it came down right here. It take out those lows, but I closed it here already because I wanted to go to bed and I didn't want to hold on to my trade. And then right after I closed it, it started to come down. It started to dump. I did take another sell at the top though, right there. That I closed around there. So I still took another trade at the top of that range as well because I saw an opportunity when I was at the gym. Okay, I was at the gym and I saw a divergence or I saw a signal coming in at the time. So yeah, keep an eye on the log in Telegram, right? That's why we have it now. And I'm very happy that we have it because I can contact you somehow outside of the live streams, which is actually much better. Keep in mind, we got around 1,200 people in the first 24 hours since the launch. 1,200 people almost. It's crazy. It's crazy. When are you going to give the indicators away? I think today. Yeah, in a second, I'm going to give away the access to the self-valuation index. Okay, invite only. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on manage access. The only thing that you need to do is you need to add on or give me your username. And then I'll add you to this tool right here, okay? Add you to this tool right here with all the right settings, configurations, etc., 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 etc. So yeah, I'm going to give it away to around 5 people today and then also 5 people tomorrow. Did you keep your limit order? Keep my limit order. Yeah, same limit order. I literally said, limit order, price came up immediately. Right here, boop. It shoot through it. I was like, okay, damn. Then I was like, how do I deal with a bit of drawdown? Number one, you go sparring, go to the gym and get hit. Then you double down with another entry. All right, guys. At the top. And then you wait for price to pull back. And then everything is okay. Anyways, let's see if we can push up here or we have to break down. I do want to see gold pulling back. Again, the thing is about the dollar as well, right? The dollar is still back at support. It could shoot up again from here right now at this current moment. It could definitely potentially do that. We have seen this before. We are at higher time frame support now, so we cannot neglect that either. As long as the dollar is at support, yeah, gold could still drop. Gold could still, if we break that support, we lose that support. I think the whole dynamic of the dollar will change, will shift, because I think we'll have much more downside potential from there. But for now, we do not. We do not. Yeah, why shorts? Yeah, because we just explained it. We just are in a higher time frame range. The NFP resistance is there. Unstoppable force of resistance, which is on the higher time frame. It's this 4-hour zone. And yeah, man, it's just a lot of resistance right now. So if we come down and we close below the point of control, there might be a chance we're going to try to test those 4,300 levels. So let's see what happens here. But yeah, I think that the dollar has a chance of pushing up at the moment a little bit. And I can already see that gold is getting a bit rejected right now at resistance. So that's not really a surprise. And what can I say? Yeah, it depends also how we close the hourly candle here. That's going to help us tremendously with understanding if we should enter earlier today or not, which is in 30 minutes. And right now we will see how we close around here on the 15 minutes. So we need a bit of time to see where we are and where we at. Okay, please write, I am live in the Telegram group. Oh, you literally see my face, unless they copy me, right? Unless they copy me. Is there a way to actually not allow them to copy anything? Wait, let me see if that's possible. Dun, 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 dun. There is a way. I'm sure there is a way. I've seen this before. That you can actually remove some of that. Wait, let me check. Is that possible? I don't know. I need to figure it out. But probably there are ways to protect it. But yeah. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. That's a pretty clean drop actually right now. Sellers are coming in, buyers are stuck. So that means that I will be setting a limit order now at the 65 already in case we push up. The 65 might be a really good level actually. 65. This is on futures. I need to see. I'm just going to mark out that zone already. I'm not going to set the limit order yet. Let's wait for at least that closure on the 50-minute. In ranging markets, we can execute a bit more aggressive, by the way. Yeah, I'll figure out how we do this. How we will change the settings and stuff, and then we'll make sure it's protected and things like that. But yeah, I mean, my face will pop up all the time, right? So you know it's me. Unless they copy that too, I don't know. But yeah. We'll figure out a way. Telegram, no. Telegram is free because this is just for me. Like, so imagine this, right? I'm taking a trade on stream, and I'm in that trade, and I have to go, which happens a lot, right? I have to train or I have to do something, and I can't reach you, and the trade goes on break even, or I exit the trade earlier, or I hit my stop loss, or I hit my take profit, right? And I'm not on the stream, which can happen sometimes. Then I need to find a way to contact you, and I'm not going to send you a formal email. That's not going to work. So we needed something else, and I realized that I needed the Telegram group as well, so I can stay in touch with you right there. And that's why we created it. For transparency reasons, I would say. Yes. In terms of the indicator, yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway later. You don't need that. This is an invite-only indicator. I don't sell this indicator. It's not. I've never thought about selling it. Actually, I don't know. So just be an invite-only indicator, indeed, for now. But we're gonna give away access to it to like 5 or 10 people, and we're gonna do this. We're really gonna do this more often. So it's gonna be like a recurring thing. Where I live? I live in Bali, man. At the moment, at least. Yeah, like the thing is, like right now, right? The point of control is holding up. So this is why I didn't want to short yet, because the point of control is just too close, right? I don't want to enter here and then we bounce from the point of control and then we react. I prefer then either to, to wait for price to push up higher, take out those highs and then sell off, for example. Right? And then target, for example, the lows and just stay in the range today, right? Something like that. Just stay in the range, pretty much a range trade. Because I think the FOMC will make the difference, right? Something like that. If we do lose this level though, right? We push down and we pull back and we face resistance here. Yeah, it might be interesting to short it and target the lows again. The 43.10 right here, which I need to mark out, by the way, this level. Right there. Huge level. Massive. What do you think about the traffic jams in Bali? What a question to ask. What a question to ask. Well, I'll give you my honest feedback. All right? I don't really notice it. If you have your driver and you have a good car and you have a good driver, you're chilling. You're just chilling. It's like sitting in a business class seat. You're just chilling. You're just on your laptop or on your iPad doing some work. You don't really notice the traffic. If you're on the scooter though, which I am also sometimes, right? Then it's not the best. Not the best. Not the best. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I have seen worse places. I was in Bangkok once, or multiple times actually. We went to Bangkok also multiple times before. You have a really nice area, but to get there, you have to go through a traffic jam of 2 or 3 hours as well. Where I was stuck, not moving. Not even talking about Jakarta, Indonesia. That is the worst traffic I've ever experienced in my life. So yeah, there are worse places than Bali. Not gonna lie to you. It's bad, but it's not the end of the world in comparison to what I've seen in other cities sometimes as well. Why focus on the POC and sometimes you focus on the low volume node? Good question, man. So in this case right here, you can kind of see that we are holding and trading into this. You see that? But we're kind of pushing through it and down. We're deep into it as well. The point of control is now exactly where we're bouncing from, right? It's the first level we're reaching now. It's level number 1. And that's why we're reacting here, right? So I prefer price to come up higher. Or, yeah, to break down pretty much, retest, and then push down. So I don't know. Either we break down, retest, and then come down, or we break out higher, and then I want to short from the top. I always like to short from tops, not from bottoms. That's personally what I like to do. But if it goes, it goes. And if we break structure, we break structure. And then, yeah, there is a reason to potentially indeed target that 4,300 level like we talked about. The 43.11 on futures, 4,300-ish on spot. So it depends. It depends what we do here now at the moment. One thing is for certain, I want to see lower prices. I'm going back to Balo, traveling in July. What region you're in? I'm in Canggu. Yeah, you see that? I think that we could still, that's why this is exactly the point of control actually. You can see it because there's so much more volume traded in this level. That's the level that you need to close below. If we want to look, if price could continue to fall, that's the level that we want to close below. Which is exactly the point of control pretty much. And a bit lower actually. That is the level that needs to be broken. We want to really continue to drop, in my opinion. That is a major level that we're watching. Yeah, it could be the price has to come down first, retrace, and then sell off. So it could be. It could be. Let's watch it carefully. It will be a smaller trade, I would say, if that's the case, right? Because then you have something like this. Depending on where you retrace. So if you pull back and you retrace, so it depends. It depends a little bit where we tap into after we break down. But we have to push and then retrace. We can't just take the. I don't want to take the sell stop. But let's kick it off with this one first because we have not broken the zone yet. We're actually bouncing from it. Brad says, when I was over there in Bali, I was blown away by how they drive. No turn signals and just pulling out in front of traffic with no regard. But somehow it all works. You're right. I had less accidents in Bali, which is a complete... There are no rules here. No one has... There are no traffic rules here. Everyone just does whatever he wants to do. Okay? And somehow I have seen less accidents here over the course of 5 years than I have seen in 1 year in the Netherlands. In my country. You tell me how that's possible. No rules versus an unlimited amount of rules and things you have to take consideration when driving in the Netherlands. They do drive slower. That's true. They do drive slower. Yeah. Okay, the hourly candle is going to close in around 10 minutes. If we close this hourly candle bearish, then I will potentially enter already a short setup. I can see that we are starting to close below those sellers. And that huge order is there. Let's see how we close first though, because we still have 10 minutes. Impressive though, right? To put on control, it's holding up still. Because of this green zone. You're gonna wait for the 57. I would love to see price getting there, to be honest. I would love that. I would love to get there. But if we don't get there and we break down, then I'll have to short it also because there's a lot of potential there. Hi, Lorenzo. How do you draw trend lines? I don't know. I'm not a trend line expert, so I don't know. Not really a trend line expert. But what I can say is that I draw them from wick to wick, usually. Can you show me your background colors? Yeah. This is the gray. This is the red. These are the wicks. And this is the background. Right there. What is the logic of the indicator? The logic is that you create an elastic band that you stretch out, that at some point has to snap back. Markets like to operate in what we call fair value. And if you leave that fair value, you expand and you stretch. But at some point, price will look for fair value built around what we call an average. So at some point, price snaps back and it pulls back. So you can measure when you're overextended in both sides. A lot of people say, isn't that the RSI? Doesn't the RSI do that? Yes, the RSI does that too. But the style variation does that across two instruments. And it then creates an average of those two. And these instruments have to be correlated or not correlated with each other. Inversely correlated with each other. In this case, the dollar against gold. So if the dollar goes up and gold goes down, you create an average. And we tend to always trade back towards that average at some point in time. And you can create an indicator out of that, and it can predict the tops, bottoms, things like that pretty well. And that's how it's used. It can work well in ranges, but also in trending markets. But only when it's in a trending market, it's only with the direction of the trend. So when it's trending up, you look for undervaluations in the pullback. When it's trending down, you look for overvaluations in the pullback. In a range, you can look on both sides. It's not just that the indicator is enough to make a trading decision. You need multiple confluences. But it's just one, you know what I mean? Like one thing that you have to pay attention to, like one confluence. How do you feel about the action charts versus the bookmap? I think that the bookmap is losing its shine. I think that these order flow platforms are out competing the bookmap. Yeah, I think they're out competing the bookmap right now, because what does the bookmap do? It shows the passive orders. Well, we have this right here. It's on the right. These are the orders. And then we see the footprint here with all the data of all these orders here, which is pretty much the bookmap's bubbles, right? But this is just so much more precise. So the bookmap is losing its shine right now. You can see it also. Also, ATAS software, that's another order flow platform. They're upgrading too. They're creating their own heat map on the site. I think they're just building out pretty much everything that the bookmap does. And I think they're out competing the bookmap. I have nothing against bookmap, by the way. I like them. But I think there are just, especially for gold, better platforms out there. Maybe if you trade the Nasdaq, the NQ, or the S&P 500, you have some really good things for the bookmap. Like You can spot the liquidity very well, but not for gold. For now, we're holding the point of control. When we closed above it, so we closed above it, we retested it. There is a chance that we will actually hold this and try to push and get to that level that we talked about initially. And this is why I say these hourly closures are so important, because in the last 10 minutes, things can flip, things can turn quite easily. So yeah, let's go to the 65. If we can get there one more time, I think we'll find a lot of resistance. How we're gonna do the giveaway? Once I say we're gonna do the giveaway, which is not gonna be really long for now. I don't think this is gonna be super long stream today. I'm just gonna ask you guys to put your TradingView username in the chat, and then we'll add it to 5 people. We give it to 5 people. I just randomly pick usernames. Not now, but later. Maybe in like yeah, around 30 minutes, I think, because that gives us enough time to see what happens with this trade idea. Yeah, yesterday's trade was an interesting one for sure, because we knew at some point we had to come down. And the way it did it, of course, in the New York session yesterday was ruthless. It created the range, and then it manipulated the highs, and then whoop, it came back down. But one thing that we can never neglect, and this is always a huge lesson, is that the higher time frame never lies. The higher time frame never lies. The higher time resistance was definitely still there, and it never lies. So we just needed a lot of patience yesterday. A lot of patience for that setup. It was worth it when it finally dropped. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, eventually it did it, and it actually created what we call a CB trade. But yeah, you know what sometimes happens when you're in a trade super long, and you're in drawdown as well, and you're getting back to your entry. Like I got back to my entry like 8 times. And then every time it tapped into my entry, it came back up again. It came back up again. I was short, right? So it came back up. It came back up. And every time it tapped into my entry, and then when it finally broke down, it actually continued to drop. Eventually, but you needed a lot of patience for this. You need a lot of patience for that one. Yeah, but I knew regardless that we were in higher type of resistance as well. So even when we came up higher, I realized quite quickly that I could take another setup on the top again. But that was just a quick scalp. What was the risk? That was on MetaTrader. Just one lot. One lot. Just a one lot trade. Okay, I think we're losing momentum. I think we're gonna close the hourly. We have closed the hourly. Sorry, I didn't even see that, by the way. Why? Okay, we did close the hourly candle. The 15-minute. Yeah, it's still holding that same support right now. 4 hour isn't at resistance here. I don't know, man. I think we're gonna. I have a feeling we're gonna drop here. That 4 hour resistance. We can't seem to break it. Huge order sitting there. It's 1.1K now. Massive order sitting below. Below the lows, by the way. All right, so that means that these lows are taken out. A lot of reason to come down. And we have that higher time frame resistance here, which we can't seem to break since June 8th. The 8th of June. We haven't broken that resistance. And every time we tap into that, new sellers enter. Or buyers get trapped. So sellers entered aggressively here. 39,000 contracts. Again. Right here. 30,000 contracts with a lot of buyers trapped at the top. So it's just too much resistance for now. And do we really think, like, this is the question I'm always asking when we have like the FOMC and stuff, right? To me, it's like, during the FOMC day, like today, and we're ranging and we're in resistance now. What is the chance that we will break out in Asian session? You know what I mean? So if you let's say, you know, have that type of mentality of like, I don't expect the breakout to happen now, because we need to see a lot of volume in order to break out of this range right now. Then yeah, and we're in resistance, then yeah, I don't know. How do you deal with trades in general right now? It depends. So for example, when my target is super big, right? Let's say I'm here. Let's say I entered that trade here, right? My target is like super big. My target was like there, right? I can allow myself to take a risk because my average risk to reward can be like a 1-to-1, to be honest. Like it doesn't even have to be a minimum 1-to-2. Like a 1-to-1 is already like enough, but my average is higher than a 1-to-1 because you have these higher risk to reward setups, right? For example, in the last trade on a Monday, I risked around like 100 pips to make 450 pips, right? So 4 to 5 to 1. That creates like an impulse, right? The average shoots up. So sometimes I have higher risk to reward setup, sometimes lower risk to reward setup. The average is maybe a 2-to-1 or something like that. Around about a 2-to-1. It's like actually 1.89 to 1. But the thing is with that is that sometimes when I see that we're in resistance, I allow myself to just lower my risk and allow myself to just manage my trade manually with a soft stop and not so precisely, oh, stop loss 60 pips there or 50 pips there, right? A lot of people are used to that static stop loss. In some cases, I do it too. Or actually, sorry, in most cases, I have a static stop loss too. If it gets stopped out there, then we're invalidated and then etc. But when we're in like higher time frame resistance around here, I don't know sometimes if it will shoot higher or like, you know, and I still have a lot of room for the trade to manage the trade and to kind of deal with it manually, right? So sometimes what I like to do is that I just manually deal with the setup and I can see, yeah, but why put my stop loss there if the next resistance is already there? You know what I mean? So then I get stopped out and then I hit next resistance. So then I'm like, yeah, I rather than lower my risk in advance, manage the trade and take that opportunity like that and just manage the trade better, which still doesn't affect my risk to reward long term, let's say, because I still have a lot of room to manage the trade. And in most cases, it actually plays out the way I want it to play out. And that is that we come into that second level and then we sell off, etc. And then I was just wrong about the first entry pretty much. Something like that. So yeah, there's different way of managing the trade, but it only works when the target is big. When the target is small, you can't do that. Because then you have literally a really bad risk reward ratio and that's not gonna work. So the only way where I can see a clear target at the bottom, for example, there was a clear target. I want to target those lows. Yeah, then it kind of makes sense because there is a lot of room. If there is not a lot of room, it's not going to work. Yeah. So yeah, that's why management. All right, guys, everything. A quick update here because and that's why I need to keep you guys in the loop. Unlimited amount of time to let it develop, and price is just constant. And this is also a reason why I can give these like educational training videos as well in our Telegram, which I'm gonna do because I think it's much more than just live trading. I think we can also put in some risk management videos, the volume profile, the basic premises of the volume profile, right? What levels do we look for? Daily bias, you know, things like that. So besides trade management, I think it's another purpose of the Telegram that we created. Stop loss got hit and price moved down yesterday in New York. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Because you know that we could. This is the thing when you trade mid. Also, this is another thing, right? If we traded the Asian session, then it's pretty clear where our stop loss can be. But if you trade then outside of the session, then what's going to happen a lot of times? Manipulation. The session is going to manipulate. Session A is going to session B is going to manipulate session A, right? So London is going to manipulate Asia, or New York is going to manipulate London, and yeah, this is the risk when you trade multiple sessions and when you trade from session to session as well. But here in this example, let's say we get triggered here, then my stop loss will absolutely be there. You know what I mean? Like there is no doubt that I will put my stop loss there. Because it's very, very clear that we are in higher time for resistance now. So if that level gets broken, then it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. We have news today. Yeah, we have the retail sales. We have the CPI on the UK, which is going to impact the dollar maybe a little bit. CPI on the euro. Maybe the dollar is going to be affected by that a bit because the euro will react. Then we have the retail sales. Then Trump will speak. Okay. And then after Trump will speak, we have the FOMC interest rate decision and the Federal Reserve press conference. So I hope you understand that it will be a very tricky New York session. If you trade the New York session, so be careful. Dude, says gold buys, Lorenzo, it's going to hit 4,600 today. 4,600? $4,600? 5,000 at least, minimum. Let's see, man. We're in the range. We are in resistance, step by step, yeah? Step by step. Step by step. If we break out of the range, out of the resistance, then the next logical target would be, let's see. Yeah, the 4,500. That's true. Why are you not buying here? So let me show you why. We are in a higher time of resistance. Okay. We have a lot of resistance here, okay? It looks very bullish on the 15-minute. We have a lot of resistance here. And yeah, I don't know. I think that if we come up a bit higher, which we could indeed a little bit, I think I prefer sells and then hold it on a little bit. And I also don't really know where I could put my stop loss here perfectly, which makes sense. And the target is not going to be that big. So I don't know. The risk to reward is just not favorable. And we're still in the range. Yeah, I prefer that that selling zone. In case we get there, I would prefer to sell there. We might not even get there though. You know, we might not even get there because that resistance we are talking about. Which this is resistance as well here. So yeah, we have a lot of resistance, man. We have a lot of resistance here. So we're just gonna be patient. If the point of control wouldn't be here, I would have probably shorted it now or very soon, around here. Maybe I actually will, even if we can get there, because we still will be able to manage it. So we're ready to enter the swing. Yeah, actually, yes. The swing high to swing low on the 15 after taking out those highs. That will be the best case scenario for sales for sure. Because you take out the highs and then you can reject again. Yeah, 100%. That will be the best level. Maybe even, like, to be honest, if you look at these highs right now, this zone right here, that could already be a level where we could find a lot of resistance as well and sell off. So if that's the case, might be able to risk it and see what we do from there. But it depends. We might even find resistance right now already. That's what I mean. Look at that. Yeah, the main reason is simple. I think we're just like right now in that higher time for resistance. I think we have a very hard time breaking this. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Let's just enter. Half my position, lower my risk, you know, and let's like enter and just let it ride. Like, let's ride the wave. Pretty much. But like, at least I want to enter in a bullish candle. I want to enter when we are actually in some resistance that I can see clearly here on the lower time frame as well, which makes sense to me. So this would be a level I would look for, an entry. And the main reason is just because of this. There are too many higher time frame reasons why right now at the moment. Yeah, I think I think I'm gonna give that a try later, because I think that we just need to give this time to develop. So forget about this one right now at the moment. I don't know, we'll see. I actually usually do not really do this, but the only reason why I would do this is because of the fact that we're in like major resistance now, right? And we can't seem to really break it. And yes, the lower time frame is showing something different than the higher time frame, but the higher time frame is still showing, and will always get the privilege. Yeah, we're pretty much flat here, so that we can't right now see a lot. The 15-minute, we can. Sir, can you please turn off the music? Sorry, I cannot. The stream will be absolutely dead if I would turn off the music. You will fall asleep. You'll fall asleep. Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway, I think, very, very soon though. Already. Okay, I'm gonna give away the self-valuation index to a couple guys. Cool. I think we should do this already in a sec. I'm just thinking about my entry right now, man. I am thinking about my entry. I'm thinking about a entry that I can hold on to for a while and anticipate lower prices over time. In the next session or the next hours or whatever the case may be, because I think we need to give this a bit more time. Are you seeing any trades on an NQ? I haven't checked the NQ in a while, to be really honest with you. Sorry for that. I haven't been really checking it. It's just pushing. But we can do quick analysis right now while we're waiting for gold to push up a little bit. What a movement, by the way. Wow. Okay, we're trading far above the previous weekly range. We're trading about inside the week, the range before that. Let's mark this out real quick. Right there. Okay. We're trading below that. All right, we're trading above that. So we are kind of gonna find resistance already at the range of the week before that, the 30,558. So that is already resistance. It's gonna be resistance. So pay attention to this. Then this week right now has been demonstrating to become also a major factor. We came down. Okay, we need to break back above that 58 level to turn that potentially into quote unquote support. Right now we're pushing up, right? We have only yesterday's analysis right to deal with. Right here, we're gonna find resistance from the swing POC at the 30,467. So you're gonna find resistance after resistance. You're gonna find two levels of resistance right now. And the daily candle, it seems to be pretty forced at the moment. Not weak, right? Definitely not weak, 100%. I would wait for the retracement again, or I would wait for a breakout retest. But I think you're gonna find resistance very, very soon. Actually, right now. Right now. Right now. Yeah. The timing couldn't be more perfect, but it's actually now, at the moment. To pay attention to that. What's the trade as well to buy now? I'm looking to short gold right now. We have a lot of resistance still. We have a couple levels though. We have the 74, which is the, I think the 74 is the 54. Okay, which is the top here. The previous daily high. That is the level. We also have a level below that. That is the 65, which is the 45, which is actually there, right? The 45, 48 area. That's a level that I would say, okay, if we can get there, I will try to short it up, and we give it some time to develop. Because we're in a range since, yeah, you could say Monday right now. Monday, we had a major gap. We had a major trade right here to there, pretty much the top. Yesterday, I had a quick win from the top there and a break-even trade from the stream. And then right now, we are still in that same range. We're operating in between the previous daily high and the previous daily low. The previous daily low, right here. So we're in the range, where we're in a balanced session. So I think that we might stay in a balanced session until the FOMC comes out. I would not be surprised if we would stay in that range. But who knows? Maybe we break out, maybe we don't. But for now, the higher time frame is showing a lot of resistance. And the NFP candle has not been broken since June 5th. That was the NFP. And then June 6th, June 8th, couldn't break it. June 9th, couldn't break it. June 15th, couldn't break it. June 16th, yesterday, couldn't break it. Today, June 17th. We need some moderators in the chat, man. We're gonna get some moderators in the chat soon. Let's see. Let me see. Bradley Taylor, boom, moderator. Up to you, Bradley. What you want to do? Good luck. Good luck. Who else? Who else? Isabella Gwim, also always there, moderator. Let's see. Alex. Moderator. Boom. Ooh, volume. The volume. The point of control is the real deal right now. You can see it. There, that's why I can't enter shorts there. There's no way. There is no way. This is that level, yeah. The 60, the 71, the 50. Is it the 50, the 45? Yeah. Okay, I think it's right there pretty much. It's pretty much there. So, yeah, it will be considered just there. But we can't even push into it. That's how weak we are. We're operating between support on the lower time frame right here and resistance on the higher time frame right here. You see that? So we're stuck. We're stuck in between lower time frame support and higher time frame resistance, pretty much. What are the rules for the moderators? The rules. I mean, there are no rules. There are no rules. Well, the main thing is like people can say a lot of things about trades and everything. If they have their opinion about things, people should be able to speak freely. That's number one. People should be able to speak freely. And say whatever they want to say, because everyone can have their opinion. That doesn't really matter. The main thing is just spamming, man. That's it. Spamming. You know? That's it. Okay. I'm going to give away some access to the Stock Variation Index. Who knows what this tool is about? Because who has been on the streams already beforehand? That's number one. You need to know what we're talking about here. You have to been in the stream so you understand why the tool is what we do, right? You can use it on a higher time frame very well. It's actually a very good tool, man. Very good. I love the tool. I love it. I personally love it a lot because it's just so effective. It's just so good. Okay. Also in the higher time frame, it can really help with settling the right analysis as well here. Okay. And also in the daily, you know, on the daily, it's super effective too. It's like the RSI. People say it's the RSI, but it's not the RSI. It's completely different. It's actually an RSI on steroids, as of what we call it. This was the bottom, undervalued. The bottom, okay. The top, overvalued, undervalued. Right, so whenever you take out the lows, for example, and you're undervalued, you just know we're gonna at least pull back. And that means also the dollar is gonna do the same. Right, and it's built around the dollar's behavior as well, not just gold, the chart itself, because gold does not really move in isolation. Gold moves in conjunction with other assets, like the dollar, the 10-year yield, the treasury bonds, the oil, right, the euro even. It moves in conjunction according to the rest of the market. It's a representation of the rest of the market. That's how I see gold all the time. And that's why I don't like things like the RSI, because it just shows only gold and it measures only gold. But it shows a completely different outlook. Yeah. Let's see. Have you set the limit order? Yeah, the moment I set my limit order, the moment I decided to set my limit order, we drop. Anyways, let's give away some access, man. Let's do it right now. What do you need to do? You need to be in our Telegram, our free Telegram group, because I can keep you updated around my setups and the trades that I take on stream as well. So when I take a trade, I'm in a trade, and then I'm offline, then I can't contact you unless you are in my free Telegram group, which I started yesterday. We have now 1,271 people in our group, which is amazing. Amazing. Really love that. Really love that. So you need to be in our Telegram, and then I need your username. Let me look in the chat right now. Let's see what we have here. Manage access. Add new user. Let's see. Drop your trading view username in there. It cannot hurt no one. No one is gonna hack you. Don't worry. Okay. Unless your password is 12345, then don't put it in the chat. Okay. Karim Morabi. Karim Morabi. Karim Morabi. Morabi 4. Boom. Done. Next. Brad. 130. Boom. Next. Let's see. Random. Random. Manovic. I saw something man. I don't know why, but that's what I saw. Manovic, I saw something like that. I don't know, now it's gone. Shit. Manovic, there we go, I found it, sorry. Manovic 1889. Okay, Manovic 1889, is that correct? Oh, 145, sorry, 145. Okay, done. Couple more. Couple more. Do I recognize any names in the chat? Let me see. Greg. I've seen you before, I think. Greg. No. Greg. You don't have to donate. Shit, man. Don't donate. Please don't donate. Now I feel guilty, man. Shit. Now I feel guilty. What do I do now? You know what I mean? Don't donate. Please don't donate. Shit, man. Okay. But don't please donate. Please don't donate. No one. I'm not going to add you next time. Okay? I'm not going to add you next time. Do not donate. Do not donate. I repeat. I'm not going to add you next time. Okay? Okay, Harish. 32. Harish, 32. Harish, 32, yes. Okay, 2 more, man. Huh? 2 more. 2 more, 2 more. It's okay, it's okay. Billy Pum Pum, okay. And any other I see that I know, because I picked a couple guys here, someone that I recognize. Where's the moderator in the chat as well that I just added? Bradley already got it. Axel, what's your name, my man? Axel, I know. Where are you at, man? Axel, Krusty Axel Rod. Where are you, man? Okay. Tronka. Okay, yeah, Tronka I know very well. Tronka, Rans from the chat. Rans, Bergmans, and the old community as well. Okay. Boom. All right, guys. We'll do it tomorrow again. We'll do it tomorrow again, okay? Of course we drop. We'll do it tomorrow again. We'll do it tomorrow again. All right? Thank you, guys. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Yeah? And please please don't donate, okay? That makes me feel guilty as fuck. I can't deal with that. Don't donate. Because the next time I will not... it's not fair towards the others, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to sell you an indicator. I'm here to give you the indicator. But anyways, we're dropping. You see, we are dropping. We're reacting from that level. And that's it. We are now coming down. When I set my limit order, not that far away. Yeah, in my opinion, it was a matter of time. Right? We're looking for the right level here. And yeah, now we can see it clearly. If you're going to close below that, in around 13 minutes, I do believe we have a new entry at 57. Which means the 37 on spot again. Which is actually the same level of yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. The 37. The 38. Yeah, pretty much. So that means right around there-ish, right? So that means right around, yeah, there. right there. But yeah, we're dropping. So that is not really a surprise. We're heading towards that big, huge, fat, big order right there below. Right there. Right there. Look at all those orders below. These big, fat, juicy stack of orders sitting there, waiting for us to be filled. Yeah, so that's why I was trying to short it. But the problem with shorting was I'm not, like, one rule is I'm not going to short at support. I'm not going to short at the previous daily POC, like above it, unless we would push up. So I have room to manage the trade. You know what I mean? Now that we break it, it's pretty obvious that any pullback is a short. Any retracement is a short. You know, because I think then now that we have to break this, it's kind of like we have to then close it back above this. So that means that we'll have to move it back towards this high of that candle. So that's what I've done actually right now. I pushed this back towards this level and turn it from pretty much from there to there, right? The fact that we are now there makes it a lot more interesting. So let's see if we can get filled again now. But it makes sense that we are pushing down because the higher time frame is still control. And that line that we marked out right here is the line that we're now respecting. Yeah, big fat juicy orders, that's for sure. Which is actually below the previous daily lows. This is also what makes it so interesting, right? The fact that you have so many orders sitting right here below the previous daily lows. And that allows me to think, listen, we might try to trade there. We might to take out those previous daily lows and yeah, pretty much push into that level below, which is actually, by the way, the Sunday open. It's actually the opening price of the week right here. The Sunday open. Yeah. You won't regret me trusting me with mod powers. I know. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yeah, so now the fact that we broke down, that means that we could turn easily the point of control now in resistance or into resistance. And yeah, pretty much that. That's right, it's a limit. Yeah. Yeah, so I actually had my limit order set be above. We broke below the point of control. So now in order for me to take a trade, let's say, right? we need to then close back above that again. And I don't know if I really want that now. If we break below it and we close below it, I prefer to stay below it. So that's why the limit order can just be there, and then we'll see. We'll give it a lot of room. Oh, you guys saw the script. Haha. Not everything. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to give away the access to again. So we're going to keep doing this on a regular basis. Some people say, why don't you sell it? I mean, they're not really interested in selling it though. Just gonna give it away to a couple guys in the chat, and then we do this once in a while for giveaways. And of course, the people in our group have it too, obviously. Boom! Look at that drop. Wow. Wow. $58, $58, $58, $59, $58. No, $59 is good. It's still good. $59. Or maybe $57. Wow. Yeah, this is what happens when you have huge orders sitting below here. This is what happens when you have this huge amount of orders sitting right there. These juicy, fat, big, fat orders stacked below in resistance. Then you know it's gonna potentially act like a magnet. It's gonna trade its way towards it. But yeah, we were dealing with the point of control there. And yeah, we had to close below first. Or we had to push up higher, like our initial entry was. And now we have moved our limit order lower. And now that we're dropping, the first pullback will be the trade. We will have the hourly open though, so we still have an hourly candle. Opening in what, like 5 minutes? 4 minutes? How do you know when the orders are placed? That's the Xau charts right here. It shows you the limit orders on the right side, and it shows you the market orders on the chart. It actually just shows you the candlesticks, by the way, but then with extra information, pretty much. That's it. But yeah, I think we broke it as well on the 15, right? Yes, we did. We did. Okay. Yeah. I moved my sell limit, I think, already for the third time. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we're good if we pull back because we're gonna have the hourly open too. That means we need to set in the top wick on the hourly candle. So if that's the case, then definitely not gonna rush it now because of the hourly. If the hourly opens up and we create like a top wick and we see or get some sort of rejection, that would be amazing. Lorenzo, do you have a plan to start the weekly analysis or reviews on the weekend? I think for gold, we can definitely do this. Definitely. Yeah, we can definitely drop it in our Telegram in the weekend. I think that's actually a really good idea. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, sure. We can definitely do that. That's the whole point of the Telegram, right? It's the quick updates, the 5-minute updates, trade updates, journal updates, analysis, etc. Yeah, so this hourly candle is going to close now in 30 seconds. So the next hourly candle hopefully creates what we want, and that's the top wick. And then we can push into at least the 58 and turn that into resistance, which is not a VWAP, by the way, also. So we will turn the VWAP into resistance too. It's actually very nice, very clean. And that means continuation potential. Let's see. There's a reason for price to come down for sure. We talked about these huge orders. The previous daily lows, the higher time frame resistance, it's all lining up right now at the moment. It is all lining up. So we just need to wait for the pullback. And yeah, get into those freaking sells, right? Shani says Telegram will not be working in India till the 21st of June. Really? Why? Just use a VPN, right? I think it should be fine. Okay, let's pay attention. 1 hour. Yeah, I think it's the 58 or 57. Might be the 57. Yeah, right there. 57 on future. So that's the what? What is that on spot? I think that is the 37. Why didn't you enter earlier? Good question. So yeah, the main reason was just the point of control. We're trading above the point of control. I can't enter at support here. We're literally at that support, and I didn't want to enter there because then that means that, like, you know, what if we could easily just bounce, right? And we were doing this already like the whole beginning of the session. So yeah, now we're can kind of see that final closure below breakdown. Now there's room. This is why my sell limit was here at the beginning. So I had like a sell limit like placed around there. So for example, like this. And then we moved the sell limit down because we broke down. And then we moved the sell limit down again because we had an impulse move. And now the hourly candle is closed. And now we're looking for a retracement, right? Pretty much. So yeah, initial entry was there. Even if we would hold support, I would still feel comfortable with selling at the top because we could still manage the trade if we pull back to that support level. Then we broke it. No way I can keep my limit order open there because then you have to reclose above the point of control again. That's not a good look. So the only logical limit is to move it down to below the point of control, which is now at the 57 or the 37, which is now in this area right here on the order flow. So let's see. Shanita says, the exams papers leak because of corruption in the system. They can't conduct fair exams for students. Oh, wow. So they close Telegram for 1.5 billion people because of the exams. That is crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. That's for real impressive that the country can do that. Damn. Okay. Well, then, yeah, you have to wait, I guess, for you know, for the join to join the group. The Indians. Since when actually did this happen? By the way, do you know that? I didn't even realize this, but wow. Okay, that's crazy. That's really crazy, man. Yeah, I thought the VPN would work, but you know, I'm usually then apparently not. I didn't know that. I thought that VPN would always work, but I don't know. Hello, G. If the group was opened, how much will it be? It's free, man. It's free. It's free. Is Telegram banned in your country? No. No. Telegram is not banned here. Thoughts on silver? I haven't checked silver. We were looking at the dollar mainly. What are my thoughts on silver? Pretty similar to gold, to be honest. Pretty straightforward, pretty similar. Rejected at that same level. Huge drop. A retracement, rejection. It's similar. I think that silver is setting up for something similar to gold right now at the moment too. Yeah. Looks pretty similar to me actually. Especially if you look at yesterday's move, the big impulse move. Right? The huge gap, the huge retracement. I think silver is in some resistance right now. Yeah. Similar to gold. Yeah, that breakdown was really telling though. Like we knew the higher time frame was already in resistance, so we already knew that we were looking for shorts today and not longs. So that was pretty clear. But yeah, we had some internal support still that we had to break. And that is now broken. So yeah, we're turning that into resistance at the moment even. So yeah. Looks pretty bearish. It looks pretty bearish from here. Especially with the breakdown now, below the point of control as well. That's actually a quick tell sign that we had to just take out those previous highs here and then break below the point of control again. And there are too many open lows here below, right? Too many open lows here that could easily be taken out. And then having these huge freaking orders sitting right there around the 4,300 is also a very clear tell sign that we might have some really big reason to drop still. You put it all together and that gives us what we call a probability. No certainty, of course, right? But a probability in our, I would say, favor. Because you put these things together and you say, okay, what is the probability that then this will happen? Is it larger or smaller than X or Y? And I think that the probability is larger that we will come down further. Lorenzo, do you look for a change of character below the daily POC? Not really, no. No, change of character, I don't care. To be honest, I don't really care about that in a range. Because we're in a range, right? Pretty much. We have the highs, we have the lows. I don't really care about the range too much. You know, any form retrace is a short, regardless if it makes a higher high, lower low. I don't really care. I think that breakdown was very telling, right? That's why. So yeah, I don't really care about the change of character or whatever, or structural break, because we broke below like some major levels on the hourly as well. So it's okay. For how long have you been streaming? I think 4 years. Yeah, but this is only my fifth or sixth Asian session stream, so yeah, it's pretty new to me still, the Asian session. At least the streams are new to me, you know? Yeah, but I like it, man. It's chill. It's in the morning for me. I can stream and then I'm done for the day. It's chill, man. Good vibes, good chat. Yeah, I'll post a breakdown in a second in the Telegram too. I'll do this too. By the way, you can make these really quick videos in Telegram, which is very nice. Price is just constantly ranging during. So that's actually very good that you can actually do this as well. Just make these quick update videos, 3-4 minutes throughout the day, the rest of the day, besides the Asia session. It's very nice. So we're gonna keep doing that for sure. How do you do your analysis of the day? For me personally, what I look at is number one already, two things pretty much, right? So I always like to know where are we trading? So for example, I mean, it sounds super stupid when I talk, when I say that, where are we trading? What I mean with that is, are we trading below or above the previous daily highs or lows? So if we are trading in it, let's say this is the Monday, right? This is the Monday. So for example, this was the Monday low. Forget about opening gap. This is the Monday low and this is the Monday high, right? So for example, when it's then Tuesday already, what I look for then on a Tuesday is, as long as we're operating inside of the previous daily highs and lows, we're most likely are in a balanced session because we have not been able to break out of yesterday's highs or lows, right? So I trade differently when we're in a balanced session as when we're in an unbalanced session. So let's say price breaks above those highs, it's a different story. I trade completely different. I have a different, I manage my trades differently, let's say. Okay, so for example, today again, we are operating in between the previous daily highs and lows. You see that? Right here. And we're still trading within that. So we're again in a balanced session. We're in a flat range. So I trade differently in a range. Okay? Now, inside of the range, you have the highs, you have the lows, you have the resistance, you have the support. You can keep trading that until you break out of the range, for example. You can also use the volume profile of the previous day and look at where the most volume was traded. That was actually traded right here, right? It was traded right there. And now that we've broken that and we lost that, I am more bearish because we lost the area where the most volume was traded before yesterday. Okay, so what happens a lot of times is that you break out, you break back below it. And because the target of the lows, the daily lows from yesterday are so much lower, there's still a lot of room to trade towards that. Okay, that is the easiest way to explain how I would like look from the market from like a ranging perspective, like how I would trade like a balanced session inside of the balanced range, inside of the previous daily highs and lows. Okay, if at some point we break out, I trade differently. All right, I have a different approach. It's more of a momentum-based approach. Okay, but today is, for example, a special day because we have the FOMC, right? FOMC today. And usually when the FOMC trades later on, we don't necessarily have a lot of reason to break out before, because it's usually building liquidity for the big breakout during the FOMC press conference. Right? So if you know that, then usually you can expect already more of a balanced session. So if we would trade, let's say, above that, above the point of control, right? And I know there is a lot of resistance here, which I look at from like things like order flow perspective, higher time frame. You see the large order, the large resistance on the higher time frame. I know there's a lot of resistance there. I would still look to short it, but I will manage my trade at the point of control because I know that we could bounce from it. I would still manage the trade by taking profits, or I would go break even or whatever if I would enter at the top. All right. I would not buy here towards that. That's a bit too small risk to reward because there is more downside potential, but there is less upside potential. Okay. But if there is more downside potential and less upside potential, and we break below the point of control, like here, then it becomes interesting to look for short because the risk to reward is still really good. Even in worst case scenario with lower risk, I could say, you know what? I could enter there, place my stop all the way at the top, which I'm not going to do, right? But I could do that and still have a 1.3 to 1. Okay. But actually I could just do like something like this and have a 2.5 to 1. Okay. That is the easiest way to explain the range trading. Okay, pretty much. And the way I like to look at it. Okay, just from that perspective right there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But that's pretty much just the range perspective, how we look at it, and you know, and things like that. So in a momentum trade, it's completely different. All right, momentum trades are much more trending movements. You can look at pullbacks, you can look at retracements and look at longs. You could look at 50% retracements into a volume profile level or a low volume note or anything like that, and just trade the momentum. But you need to already know beforehand and ask yourself the question, what do I expect today? Do I expect a momentum day or expect a balanced day? Right? And you can kind of see this quite quickly. In an ASIN session, you can see already pretty quickly if you're going to be in a range or in a momentum play when it breaks out earlier or whatever. So that is pretty much the way. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's just a quick insight, but like there's much more to this, of course, right? You have like a lot more confirmations and you know things like that. But like that is the core like premises of what we're looking for. Yeah. Yeah. So that's another. That's another layer. Another thing is that you can take this all the way back to the lower time frame, right? And then just keep narrowing down later on. Prince, hello Lorenzo, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Will you trade the FOMC today? I don't think so. But I will definitely do a recap tomorrow morning. Yeah, and just wait for the FOMC to come. And maybe trade now towards the lows before that, right? How can you see those big orders? By using the exit charts. That's the only way. Or things like the bookmap and stuff. Not sure if you heard about the bookmap, but I like the exit charts much more, man. It is much more. I don't know. I like it much more, personally. Yeah, much more. It's just a bit more concise, more clear. Yeah, we're still in that low volume node, right? So we can still find support here. So pullbacks are definitely possible. Yes. It's just looking pretty weak to me, but pullbacks are definitely possible. Yeah. What is the biggest hurdle that I've learned? And this is a huge lesson for me every time. This is such a good lesson for me. That made such a big difference in my trading or my understanding of like bias and also my direction a lot of times. But direction is one thing, but like just my understanding of bias is setting the right expectations for the market. This is a huge level thing that I've learned is always set the right expectations for the day. Because you have to trade momentum moves like trending markets completely different than a ranging market, okay? And what happens is that people have or tend to have the same strategy regardless of what the market gives them that same day. So they trade the same exact thing. So for example, if the market is trending, they start looking for quick scalps, where I'm like, bro, the market is trending. Take advantage of a trending market. At the same time, when the market is ranging, right, they're starting to think about major breakouts, major trends, No, the market's in a range. So they set the right expectations every single day for the market. So you need to kind of think for yourself, I expect a balanced session, which means more of a ranging market, or I expect a more trending environment, right? And you need to find ways to understand the differences and to adapt to that properly at the right moment. And then you can set the right expectations. And if you set the right expectations for yourself as a trader for that day, then you're already ahead of most other traders that trade the exact same way every single day, no matter what. And that's gonna make the difference, because that adaptation is gonna allow you to manage your trade appropriately every day and to set the right expectations and not fall for those traps of setting large expectations when the market will probably do not much, or setting no expectations, missing out on a huge move, right? So I hope that makes sense. But that is something that helped me tremendously. And it doesn't mean you're always going to get into the best possible trades and that's going to turn you profitable, but it's going to help you with setting the right expectations throughout the day. So you need to understand the way to manage that appropriately. Yeah. Yeah, this is also the reason why I decided to trade just one instrument right now for a long time and commit to one instrument. And that's when my actual return got up significantly. And it might sound very weird because sometimes people say like, yeah, but the market, you know, is not always like give you anything, right? Sometimes gold doesn't do anything. It's just ranging. How can you make money in the ranging market? Well, you can make money in the ranging market too. You just need to understand how to trade it, for example, and how to look at it. You know, I like to also trade multiple different assets and instruments. I like a lot of instruments. So I'm actually very interested in also like things like Forex and currencies and stuff. I like this a lot. But the problem I had was that I was too distracted. So when I saw an opportunity on one instrument, I lost sight of the other. And then I missed out on the other one. And I was always chasing the next opportunity. And I was just going from instrument to instrument to instrument. And even though it makes sense, like you want to find the best opportunities in the market, I actually found less opportunities because I was just putting my attention away and not being focused too much. I lost my focus. And I think that that is super important to have, right? Focus and mastery. Just master that one instrument. And then maybe, right? Maybe if you're really pro and you are really settled, maybe add one more. And then go from there. But yeah, I've tried to like hop around from instrument and I look for the best opportunity. But for me, it's just like distracting me too much. That's just my personal style now. I realized it's just not gonna work for me. And I need something more specific, something that I can watch on a daily basis. And, you know, and learn how to trade and understand really well. What was the best trade of your career? Setup profit-wise? I think that was that trade last year when gold was ripping. That's another reason why I decided, you know, to go fully for gold, because when gold goes at some point, it goes. And we know it's going to come. We know it's going to come at some point. We know it's going to come. But that was January 15th. That was $48,000, $48,766. $48,766. Whoop. Oh, oh. Okay, see it? Yeah, crazy. And that's when gold starts to rip. And I know that at some point it will happen again. The gold starts ripping and it starts to go after this bear market season is over. And yeah, you better want to prepare for that. You better want to get prepared for that one. Because yeah. In my opinion, it will happen again. Oh shit, my screen, sorry. What is the previous daily POC? The previous daily point of control. So for example, we have the volume of yesterday. Okay, this is the big volume. This is where the most trades were executed. And the red line is where the most volume was traded yesterday. And it makes sense, right? Look at how many times we got to the 39 before. Yesterday, all the time we were hovering around 39. So that level is the most important level of the day today. Because yesterday, it acted as strong support, but also as resistance every time. And it's just at a really important level. So if you come back to that level, usually you're going to see a reaction. from that level, right? So that's why you use the point of control. You learn about point of control in a ranging market, especially the previous daily point of control is very important to pay attention to. And if you trade above this, you want to be careful with buying or selling here. And if you want to trade below this and there's more downside potential, you can definitely sell into it. But you guys can simply learn from it in my book. I think there are a lot of new people here today, so I'm going to do a little free promo because it's free. I have nothing to sell you. ltaconsult.io, you type in your email and you can get access to my book. And that is exactly where you will find that exact explanation around the trading war map, okay? The trading war map is the book that I written. The interesting part, I called it the war map in 2023, before the war. So it's actually the war stands actually for the analogy of trading is war, right? It's buyers versus sellers. It is a constant battle. And you go to volume analysis and then you go to the previous daily, the daily volume profile right here. And then you can see how you can use it. Okay, it pretty much explains everything around what I just explained and why we use the volume profile this exact way, right? So yeah, you can learn about this right there in my book and links in the description or in the chat. So download my book for free and then study it. And this is what I've done. I built a platform, okay, where I've built, I would say, an audience on YouTube by going live, by live trading or live streaming and doing my analysis, sharing my whatever insights for the day. And then I written a book, and that book is created for you so you can learn and understand also why and what I'm looking at and what it means. So you can actually study it. Nowadays you have AI. You can literally upload this whole book in AI and ask it questions. It's simple as that. You can literally put this whole book in AI and say, explain the strategy. Done. And then now we have also created a free Telegram group as well. So you can actually, stay updated, stay in touch with me whenever I'm not live on YouTube, which is actually something that I think is extremely valuable as well. The fact that we just opened this up. So it should cover all angles, correct? Community angle or broadcasting channel, YouTube, and then the book for the educational content. And then some analysis, of course, in the weekends and stuff. So Swap says, or Nazir says, I think at this point it's better to buy. Would you say, why would you say that personally? Let me know. Are you coming back to the New York sessions? Maybe later. Yeah. The thing is right now with the whole Trump situation stuff, it's getting better, but let's see what happens after the FOMC as well. Let's see what happens on the lower time frame here. It seems pretty bearish. Yeah, it seems pretty bearish right now, definitely. And these orders there, man. I don't want to assure things in trading, right? I don't like to assure you with things like it's gonna happen 100%. That's not how I like to say things, because the market doesn't work like that. But like when these orders are there and we are in resistance and we break down, the amount of times I've seen it pulling towards those orders is insane in the past. That's all I can say. That is all I can say. So any form of retracement that is proper is, in my opinion, a no-brainer short or an additional entry. However, if it gets down to the lows and we take out the previous daily lows, different story, man. I think we could potentially try to go back up again, or yeah, we just have to look at where the dollar will be, what the dollar is doing as well. But right now, the dollar at this moment is at support. Like I said before, if the dollar is at support and there is just a larger chance that gold will try to push down, or shorts are going to be still more favorable than longs right now. The dollar does not want to break now, yet at least. The dollar does not want to break this support. It wants to hold this support for now. And you can actually see how important this level is, right? It's one of the most important levels for the dollar, by the way. Because if the dollar breaks this, look at this. This is resistance, 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 support, support, or resistance, resistance. And now we're at what? We're at support. So you can see how much the dollar has been struggling right here. And it doesn't look super strong. But as long as we're at it, we haven't broken it, right? And any reaction to the upside of the dollar here will cause gold to potentially drop or find resistance or respect resistance, I could gotta say. So yeah, it's just like that. Do you know if those large orders are buys or sells? They're passive limit orders. Okay, so they are buy limits. Okay, in futures you can do 4 things, right? You can either set a sell limit, a buy limit, okay, or a sell stop, a stop limit. The main incentive of this is not to understand if this is going to be a buy or a sell. That's not how I like to look at it. What I like to look at it is these are passive orders versus aggressive orders. So passive means limit orders and aggressive means market orders, which are all the things inside of the candles. All right. And what I see, if there is a lot of limit orders placed, then I just know there is liquidity sitting below here, which could be acting as a magnet. So if there are no orders in general here, really small orders here, but there are huge orders, right? Huge orders sitting all below at an interesting location, which is below the previous daily lows, then it's very appealing to say there is a lot of reason for price to go there if price is in resistance and if it makes sense from a perspective of the dollar and stuff. You know what I mean? So this is what we call the passive orders. These are not executed orders. So this is not volume. These are orders that are placed there that can be removed as well. So at any moment, they can decide to remove those orders and the whole thing changes. But right now, these orders have been there for the last 3 hours, I would say. They haven't been moved. They haven't been replaced, okay? The market orders inside here are the green, the red. These are the market orders. These are people that hit the bid, the ask, hit buy, market, sell market order, sell or buy limits got activated. One contract got executed, right? One contract got executed. That is the difference. So if you see a lot of orders below, like we're seeing today, a lot of orders are sitting here below the previous daily lows, and the market breaks below the point of control, let's say, then that is pretty bearish, right? That is pretty bearish. Like, that means that there is a chance that we will try to trade towards this, potentially. Right? And then if at the same time we look at also, okay, if that's gold, what is the dollar doing? Because if the dollar shoots up, gold will drop. But if the dollar drops, then gold will come down, or come up because of the negative correlation. So that is one element. Now, the other element is the dollar and gold. Okay, now the dollar is at higher time frame support now at the moment. So you see how much gold has to do in order to break that resistance, in order to shoot up? It has to do so much. Because a lot of confirmations and confluences are giving us the signal that it's actually the opposite right now at the moment. Dollar is at support as well. If the dollar reacts from this support and it tries to push higher, it's going to put more pressure on gold, right? Now, okay, let's go to the order flow on gold again. Let's look at the higher time frame resistance. Right here, this was the NFP candle. Major volume. We could never break it. So this is the real resistance on gold that we haven't been able to break. Sellers step in here, buyers filled, sellers step in here. Gold is in resistance on the higher time frame too. Isolated, just in general. Okay? If you go to gold in the higher time frame and we look at just the candlesticks, it actually swept those highs here. And after we swept those highs, we failed to break new highs or create new highs. Right? We're still trading in the range ever since those highs were taken out. Right there. We still have a gap below. Right? So there's so many things and reasons why I would say I'm more bearish biased right now on gold and not potentially, bullish biased, etc., etc. Okay? I hope that makes sense. But a good question, man. So thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Oh yeah, and the last thing I would say, if you then compare all of these confirmations, confluences, and you set up your analysis for the day, then what we can do is to say, okay, do we expect a balanced session or an unbalanced session? Well, we're in between the previous daily high and low. And yesterday also, we were in between the previous daily high and low. So we are in a balanced session potentially, unless we break out of those highs or lows, right? Anything below is potentially momentum. Anything inside of this is just balanced. We're in a range. So I have different ways of managing the trade in a balance session than in a momentum session. In a momentum session, I hold my trades much longer, or I scale in, or I risk different. I have different entry criteria, things like that. In a balance session, we can expect price to do a lot of this, right? Constant pushbacks, pullbacks, at support again, pullback, resistance, pullback. So in a ranging market, there are a lot of opportunities to enter again, if needed. I have to thank the moderators today, though. Thank you, I appreciate it. And yeah, I think tomorrow we'll do another giveaway for the valuation index, okay? We'll do it another time. Watch what happens when the market is trending, by the way. What time is it? How long have we been streaming already? Almost 2 hours, 40 minutes. Yeah, like I said, today I have to go a little bit earlier because we have a little bit of a... I wanted to have a bit of a shorter stream today. We have the FOMC as well later on, which is going to be probably really wild. New York session later, or post-New York session already. I have to go to the gym too in a second. But I will do my breakdown as well. And again, this is why we have our Telegram right now, so I can keep you updated. So if you haven't joined it, you can join it. It's completely free. So I can stay in touch with you as well in regards to the updates for the setups, the trades as well. Maybe even for the pullback continuation plays and things like that. It will be very interesting to watch. For now, I think that order stays exactly where it needs to be, and it will not change. By the way, that's for now. It will not shift. But we'll give it another go. If we break down again, then we'll see the next pullback, etc. But there is a lot of room to trade down. That's what I'm trying to say. But there's a lot of room to get to the 4,300. I actually wanted to see this yesterday. We did not do it yesterday. So let's see if we can do it today. If we find a way to, to break down and to get down to the 4,300 and to finally tap into these massive orders sitting below there. Yeah, I would not be surprised if you do. By the way, this 4-hour candle is going to close very, very soon. So this is just another confirmation that we're going to find major resistance here. And that longing to me is very, that I'm only looking to short it, okay? And only looking to see if I could get into another setup at any pullback. Because the fact that we will have that major resistance now, if we close this candle in 6 minutes on the 4-hour time frame, we'll find so much resistance that, yeah, I think for me, shorts are just making the most sense. That's my personal opinion. Let's see if I'm right later today. Okay, let's see if I'm gonna be right about that. We're gonna figure that out later. Yeah. In terms of the expectation, like I said before, we have the FOMC today. So, like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and expect like huge breakouts right now during the London session or the Asian session. We might stay within this frame until we have more news. And yeah, I hope that makes a difference though. We do have the CPI for the euro, actually, right? Correct? CPI, euro. Yeah, we have the CPI and the CPI for the UK as well. So we do have definitely some news before in the London session. So pay attention to the euro. I would say pay most attention to 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. EST if you still trade London, because we will see some volume because the dollar will react to that. I think if the euro reacts, the dollar will react, gold will react. So that is an injection of volume that you might expect. But of course, the big one will be the FOMC, man. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I have to go, guys. I have a couple things to do right now. I think we've done the giveaway. We've done everything. I'll keep you updated in Telegram for the next setups, etc. And when I'm in another trade or executed. and looking for the right momentum here. But I hope you guys understand my bias. It's pretty straightforward today, to be honest. Yeah. I would say click on the link in the description and then go from there. I'll see you inside. And yeah, it's also going to be good for later on. Maybe during the New York session as well, when we have a bit more understanding of the CPI. And then, of course, Trump is going to speak. Oh, man, it's going to be big. It's going to be a big day. It is going to be a big day. It's going to be a big day. Yeah. All right, I look forward to seeing you on the stream tomorrow if you are interested in the giveaways as well for these indicators. If you don't know what these indicators are, don't worry about it. It's for the people that come here already a lot, that know exactly, you know, what we're talking about and why. Okay. All right. All right. Much love, man, fans. Love the Asia session so far, man. Really, I do. It's chill. It's nice, and it sets the day. It sets the standard for the day, which I think is really good. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. Good luck today. Understand we are in a balance range, so use that in your advantage. And adjust your risk to that session as well. Okay. Set the right expectations for the market. That's one of the big lessons, man, that I received. Set the right expectations every day. And we'll go over it in the chat. All right. Much love, my friends. Love you guys a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Post FOMC. We'll talk about what happened. In the meantime, if you want to talk to me, Telegram. Okay. Cool. Love you guys, man. Take care. See you guys. Ciao. See you soon.